welcome to another of Mrs. Patnell's literacy lessons. I'm just going to move my big phonics book before I skid over on it. We have been looking at stone soup, the fable of stone soup, and we have made last week, we read the story, we've made a story map to go with the story, and then we've been thinking about making our own stone soup. So we've looked at recipes and instruction writing, and remember that instruction writing is quite bossy. We looked at different things about a recipe, but we'll go into that a little further as this week progresses, because this week we are going to attempt to make our own stone soup. This is the week for the making, okay? So I do have my story map here in front of me. I'm just going to tilt my camera a bit because I think we're not quite seeing the top of the story map there. Okay. So, just reminding ourselves of our stone soup story. You may actually have a copy of it at home with you now, which is fantastic because you can get really used to reading the story. But using my map here to help me, I hope you can see it clearly. We have got that we have 1, 2, 3 wanderers come into town. Wanderers, people that don't have a fixed house, they move about and visit different towns. So 3 wanderers come into town, but the town is very quiet. There's no smoke from chimneys and all the windows and doors are shut. So no one's in the street. It's very strange. But then a villager, an old villager, comes out to see the wanderers. And we think, is he going to come and say nice things? But no, he says to the wanderers, move on, off you go. There's no place for you here. We are poor and we have no food of our own. We can't even feed ourselves. We really can't feed you, which isn't very nice, is it? But then the wanderers, who are very clever, say to the villagers, it's okay. We have the some of the ingredients for a stone soup. We have this special, beautiful stone soup stone. Not just any ordinary stone, but a stone soup stone. We have a big pot as well, which they take out of their caravan. We just need some wood to light a fire to make the water hot. Nobody wants cold stone soup. So, some of the villagers say, oh, actually, we do have some wood, dear wanderers. And so a few of them, not just one, but a few of them go off to their houses, gather their wood and put it all together to make a good fire, rather than just a little fire with one person's wood. They put it all together. And soon the pot is boiling and the water is very hot. So at this point, the wanderers put in the stone for the stone soup. Now, the cook tastes the soup and he says, oh, it's not very tasty at the moment. We need some salt. We need some salt to go in. I've got some salt, says one of the villagers, and runs back to his house to get it, and in goes the salt. Does it taste nice now? No, says the cook. Do you know what this needs? It needs some parsley. So parsley's that green leafy plant, isn't it? I've got some parsley, says one of the villagers. So he runs off and he gets the parsley, which strangely enough, I think was under his bed. He brings it back, it gets chopped up and put into the stone soup. Does it taste nice now, the villagers ask. No, says the cook. This needs some carrots to make it more filling. I've got some carrots, says one of the villagers. So he runs off and gets the carrots, which, if I remember rightly, were in the loft. Very strange place for carrots. He brings them back. They get cut up and put into the stone soup. What about now, they ask the cook. Still not quite right. We need some P for pepper. P for pepper. I have some pepper, says one of the villagers. I can go and get some for my house. So he runs off. He gets the pepper. He brings it back. And it gets grinded into the stone soup. What about now? It must be ready now, say the villagers. Can we have some soup? Tastes the chef. He rubs his chin. You know what this needs, he says. This needs an onion. That would make it perfect. Then it would be ready. The villagers all look around at their feet. They don't want to look at anybody in particular. There's someone who hasn't bought anything yet to the pot. So they're shuffling around hoping that he might say he has an onion. Finally, the grumpy old villager looks up and he says, I might just have an onion, but only one, mind. And he heads off home, shuffles home, finds his onion, brings it back. Is it small? No, it's a big, massive onion. He brings it in like the size of a pumpkin, pops it down, and the chef cuts it up. Lots of cutting going on here with this massive onion. Cuts up the big onion and puts it into the soup. And then we're here now. Everyone looks happy because they get, do you remember how many bowls? 3 bowlfuls of soup each. They were hungry to begin with. No one had anything in their houses to make one meal. Put it all together, 3 bowls of stone soup each. They eat it up. They even get out their flutes and their violins and they have a dance and they play their instruments and everybody's having a dance. And they love it so much. They've not smiled so much in ages that they say to the wanderers, please say you'll stay. Please say you'll eat with us again. But the wanderers say, oh no, we need to move on. But what about if we give you the gift of the stone soup stone? Then you can come together every night of the week and bring 1 item each to make a lovely stone soup all together. Yay, think the villagers, we can do that. Thank you so much for giving us your very precious stone for our stone soup. Then, as the wanderers are leaving with a little cheeky grin on his face, the clever wanderer bends over and picks up another stone off of the side of the road. It's not a special stone soup stone after all. It's any old stone. But if they bring the stone to the next village, then all the villagers will provide all the other ingredients. Clever old wanderers. And that is the end of the fable Stone Soup. Remember that stone soup is out of someone's imagination. So is it a fact book or a fiction? It is a fiction book, absolutely. So I want to talk to you a little bit now, just quickly to tell you about what's going to happen this week, okay? So we're going to make our own stone soup. Now you might not really want to put the stone into the soup, okay? Because if you're planning on blending it up, I don't want any broken blenders, okay? I don't want anyone swallowing a stone by accident. So I would make sure you don't eat that stone or leave it in when you're doing any blending, okay? In fact, leave it out completely if you want to. What I need you to get is, and if you're in my class, I've sent you the link to that particular soup recipe. If you're not in my class, you can download any soup, vegetable soup recipe off of the internet or get one out of a cookbook, okay? When you get your recipe, I want you to look at that list that normally comes at the top, or at least the first thing you see on the left side, which is your list of ingredients. Remember that ingredients are all the items of food you need to put in to make the whole dish, okay? So you're going to need to get yourself a recipe at the end of this lesson and then look at what you need to add to your stone soup. Okay, you might need to write a shopping list for all the things that you need, and then when someone goes out to the shops, which is a little tricky at the moment, they can get the items that you need for your stone soup. Okay, when you have all those items, you may have got them already, particularly if you're in my class, you've had the recipe for some time, then you can start cooking. Okay, now everything you do for your stone soup, I would like an adult to take a photograph of it, okay? So when you start to peel some of the vegetables, take a photograph. When you start to cut up some of the vegetables, take a photograph, okay? When you are adding a bit of salt, maybe, take a photograph. When you are adding maybe the water, take a photograph. So take a photograph of every part that would appear as a step in your recipe, okay? Because in the next lesson, we're going to talk about what sentences we would put as instructions underneath each picture, or a picture certainly, in the next lesson, okay? So if you can get lots of pictures, hopefully you can print them off. Don't worry if you can't, because then you can flick through them maybe on your tablet device, and then you can pick one next lesson, and I want you to tell me the sentence, the bossy sentence, the instruction sentence that goes with that picture. So that's our plan over the next step there, okay? So you want to buy your vegetables, write a list if you need to, buy your vegetables, and then cook your stone soup before you come to the lesson next time. Take lots of photos, don't forget that's very important in order for us to write our instruction to go with the photo. Okay, well, good luck with that. I hope your stone soup comes out perfectly, and I will see you again in the next lesson. Bye-bye.